AI usage in Canadian workplaces is surging. Most organizations have not conducted formal AI training and have not put AI policies in place. AI usage is becoming a very polarized world.
Today, we're diving into the rapidly evolving landscape of artificial intelligence and its profound impact on the Canadian workplace.
Organizations that have done formal training, have completed that, 75% of those users report being comfortable with using the tools. Technical readiness and really the IT team getting ready for the organization to adopt talent retention, coworker engagement, innovation at scale. If we can create a more productive organization and if that productivity is leading to coworker engagement, that's a big, big opportunity.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the CanadianSME Small Business Podcast, where we explore the strategic insights and innovative solutions that empower Canadian businesses to thrive in our modern, connected world. Now, today we're diving into the rapidly evolving landscape of artificial intelligence and its profound impact on the Canadian workplace. Now, in this dynamic environment where organizations need trusted advice to maximize their technology investments, our guest today is a leader in modern workspace strategy, helping businesses understand and implement the technology that drives performance. Joining us is Brian Matthews, the head of services strategy and development, modern workspaces at CDW Canada. With over 15 years of diverse experience across solutions and services, Brian provides a unique perspective on solving complex business challenges and fostering high performance cultures. And today we'll discuss lots, including CDW Canada's latest report exploring the surging adoption of AI, the critical trust and capability gap facing Canadian workers, and how organizations must invest in regulated tools and robust training to boost productivity and quality. So, without a further ado, let's welcome our guest, Brian. Brian, we're very pleased to have you on the show today. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be back on the Canadian SME podcast.
Very pleased to have you with us. Now, Brian, as I mentioned in my intro as well, the CDW Canada recently released 2025 Modern Workspace Survey Report, Unlocking AI's Potential, How to Build Trust and Capability in the Canadian Workspace. Please tell us, can you provide us with a brief overview of the key findings in this new report?
Yep, great. So this was our second annual study. It's really designed to help us understand what is happening and what are the current state of play within AI and the usage of AI, Gen AI within the Canadian workplace. So we're really excited to work with Angus Reid in partnership to conduct that survey, and it was conducted in July. So really recent data to understand because this industry is moving so quickly. So key findings, there's really four that I think are really relevant to the Canadian SME audience and excited to dig in deeper on these. But first and foremost, to nobody's surprise, AI usage in the Canadian workplaces is surging.
Right.
So we have now seen over 50% of respondents state that they're using AI in their workplace, which is up significantly from just 12 months ago. Second key finding is around AI training and AI policies. Most organizations have not conducted formal AI training and have not put AI policies in place. And we'll talk about why that's important as we dig in. Next, we have seen most organizations not measuring formal KPIs. And even the organizations that are measuring KPIs are using very soft or qualitative KPIs versus more hard or quantitative KPIs, which is going to be a big opportunity for all of us as we continue to see more and more adoption. And then lastly, the sediment and the emotions and the comfort levels of AI usage is becoming a very polarized world between the users of Gen AI in the workplace and non-users. And what we see with the individuals that are leveraging and using the technology is much more comfort with the tools, much more excitement, much more positive emotions around the tools, versus the individuals not yet using Gen AI in the workplace, having a lot more fear and negative emotions and, so on and so forth with the technology.
That sets the stage pretty clearly now, and it sounds like a pace of change is accelerating quickly. And thank you so much. I mean, the report really or clearly highlights the speed at which AI is integrating into our professional lives. Now, Brian, let's explore the trend of rapid adoption and what's fueling it among Canadian employees, because the report also mentions a significant jump in AI usage among Canadian employees. And this rapid self adoption is a huge story that we'd love to uncover. Besides, what's driving the rapid adoption of AI among Canadian employees, with usage jumping dramatically in just 1 year? And what finding was the most interesting to you personally?
Yeah, so great question. It's very interesting to reflect on a year ago when I was on the Canadian SME podcast, because the growth or the driver of the growth last year was the end users. It
Mm-hmm.
was individuals saying, this is really exciting technology. I've used it in my personal life. I'd love to use this in my work life. So it was a very user driven first wave. Now that we've got into more mainstream adoption this year, the really interesting part is being driven by organizations doing the work to evaluate their security and data governance and actually implementing approved AI tools in the workplace. So what we're seeing is this isn't just people using the tools that they've used at home and starting to do some work with it. It's organizations rolling out approved AI tools for their users to implement and to use. So that's what's really driven this second wave of adoption over the last 12 months. And then the most interesting thing, there's so many interesting findings in the study. I'm super passionate and excited about, this area. I'll probably give you two if that's okay, but I'll be quick. First, um, when we look at organizations and how they're enabling their workforce around this incredibly transformational technology, only 20% of organizations are doing formal AI training.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that is a bit shocking. And it was very surprising when we saw that. The top three ways that end users are receiving training are through social media, or through trial and error, and through friends and family. And
Right.
those are all great things, right? We should talk about this. We should learn. I have a sister who's using, AI in the legal industry, and that was fascinating to me. And it inspires maybe how I think about AI, within my role. So all of those things are good, but first and foremost, it starts with formal AI training that is
Right.
well thought out, well designed, and aligns with organizations' AI policies. So that one was very, very interesting to us. The second interesting thing is, although we saw the rapid growth of adoption with
Mm-hmm.
the one or more than 50% of users stating that they do use Gen AI within their workforce, we've actually seen a decline in the perceived ROI of the tool and the
Right.
technology from the user base. And that one took us by surprise. And it took me by surprise. I've been an early adopter of Gen AI in the workplace, and CDW's made a lot of internal investments into AI. And every single day, I discover more value and more ROI. I was already very positive on the technology and the value prior. It keeps getting stronger. So
Mm-hmm.
why wasn't that the case in the survey? And what we've started to really understand is this second wave of adoption, let's call it mainstream adoption, over the last 12 months. We are having individuals that didn't get to using AI on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They got there because their organizations were rolling it out. They had new expectations and they had put new policies in place that would drive the use. So, I think that's why we're seeing, that drop in perceived ROI. But again, it was something that was really interesting to the team and I as we looked into the findings.
Mm-hmm. No, it's fascinating to see the employees taking the lead on adoption, and this points to a real demand for efficiency. Listeners, if you are struggling to keep up with the pace of AI adoption in your workspace, Brian Matthews, the head of service strategy and development at CDW Canada, is here to share essential data from their latest report on how to build trust and capability in the AI driven workplace. And it was great to learn that the momentum behind self service AI use is a trend organization simply that they cannot ignore. Now, Brian, let's kind of address the flip side of this adoption, which is this trust and the capability gap. Because while adoption is surging, the report reveals that many Canadian workers they still face challenges in understanding the adoption and the applications of AI at work. Can you please elaborate on this gap between AI adoption and the understanding or capability of Canadian workers? Like, what are the biggest risks this presents to an organization's productivity and their data integrity?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's important to look at the organization as some different personas, right? Let's call them
Mm-hmm.
adoption personas. So we've got the early adopter persona, right? That's me, and I'm excited about it. We've got the mainstream adopters that have come into the technology and started their journey over the last 12 months. And then we will progress into the laggard adopter. But if we look at those three populations, I think it's really important to understand that there's different strategies, different concerns, and different questions that may need to be addressed with those populations. If we start with the early adopters, you probably won't need to convince them to use the tool or to be excited about the tool. They'll get
Mm-hmm.
there on their own. The opportunity is to make sure that we're keeping some guardrails on that energy and channeling that energy and excitement to leveraging approved tools that are secure, compliant, that don't introduce risk into the organization, so that they can continue to build the skill sets that are going to help transform themselves as individuals, their teams, and their organization. When we look at mainstream adopters, we know there's a lot more concern, there's a lot more fear, there's a lot more negative emotion, there's a lot more questions. They might be hearing about things that other teammates are doing, but not even understand how they're actually doing it or what it all means or how they could even participate in the AI party. So formal training, like I've said it 2 times, I'll probably say it a few more times throughout the interview here, but formal training that really helps people, because this is not just a new tool,
Mm-hmm.
right? New tools come out all the time and we leverage new tools at work all the time. This is not just a new tool that we need to learn how to use. This is a tool that is going to change the way that we work and change the way that we live. And if we agree with that premise, if we agree that this is the transformational technology of our generation, why wouldn't we be doing formal training and making sure that we're really helping people get there? The really good news, and some of the data that came out of the survey, was that organizations that have done formal training, have completed that, 75% of those users report being comfortable with
Right.
using the tools, which is greatly above the average in terms of the broader population. Lastly, the laggard adopters. This is going to be the hardest challenge. It is with every technology adoption curve. There will be the most heightened fear, the most heightened emotions. We will deal with individuals that have fear of change, or just not a desire to adapt to this new world that we're living in. We'll have to be extremely thoughtful about how we encourage them to get on board and to leverage the technology.
That is a critical challenge, and you're absolutely right that unregulated or misunderstood tools they pose real threats to both the security and the work quality. And the imperative for organizations is pretty clear: like they must move from reactive to proactive management of the AI tools. Now we'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment to explore how organizations can invest in policies, training, and regulated AI tools.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. Still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep. Healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah. Well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep. That's all us. That's all UPS.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's dive into the steps Canadian organizations can take to implement AI responsibly, from formal policies to training programs and the right regulated tools to boost productivity and confidence. Next topic that we'd cover is how should organizations really begin to close this gap and invest kind of wisely? Because the report also emphasizes that organizations must invest in regulated tools, comprehensive training, and formal usage policies to really boost work productivity and quality. Brian, what steps or what specific steps we should say should Canadian organizations take to implement effective AI policies and comprehensive training programs to really foster that trust and competence?
Yeah, I don't bake,
Mm-hmm.
but for whatever reason, I've got this baking analogy in my head as we
Mm.
think about this. And, it comes down to the ingredients of this AI cake that we want to all consume and we all want to enjoy. And there's some very, very critical ingredients. And you can't, select a few of them or some of them. You really need to kind of walk through it and be thoughtful around it. So when we speak with our clients, it really starts with technical readiness of their environment, of their
Mhm.
infrastructure. Do they have the appropriate security governance, data policies in place? Are they ready to even implement a tool and a technology like this? So, technical readiness and really the IT team getting ready for the organization to adopt. Once we've got that all in place, we really get into, okay, how are we going to adopt this technology, right? Are we going to start with a pilot? Are we going to start with mainstream adoption? What use cases are we going to try and solve? Everybody's got an AI use case. Every organization has different AI use cases. They all have different AI challenges. So we really encourage our, clients to think about, where should we start? Right? Where's maybe some of the low hanging fruit that we can sink our teeth in, build momentum, build some skill sets, improve how we think about AI and move on from there. User adoption, end user training. We've talked about that, the formal AI training, formal AI policies, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. Things are changing so quickly
Mhm.
that I think a lot of users really want to know exactly what I am expected uh, to do or not do with some of this new technology. Because if people have uncertainty, they're not sure, what is okay and what is not okay, that's going to lead to them maybe being a little bit more hesitant to
Mhm.
leverage the tools. So, beyond that, it's really about leveling up use cases, right? And this is a topic that, I speak about a lot and I get really excited about. I'm even myself as an individual, always trying to tell myself, level up, level up, level up. Things are moving so quickly. The number one response I hear when someone asks, how are you using Gen AI within your workplace? Is email summarization. It's meeting notes. It's, I drafted an email and I need a better tone, a more serious tone, a more professional tone, a more casual tone, whatever it may be. Those are all great use cases. They
Mhm.
all provide value, productivity gains, etc. But if that's where we start and stop, we're really missing the bigger opportunity. And the bigger opportunity is really, about how do we level up use cases to transform processes within our organization, to increase more automation, to leverage agents, to harness the genius-like intelligence of some of these tools that we now have at our fingertips and in our pockets. So that's an area that we focus a lot on. But again, coming back to the cake analogy, it's making sure that you have a thoughtful approach, a strategy, and you're checking off all the different steps of this process to make sure that you adopt and you rolled out in a very productive and effective way.
That's great advice. Thank you so much, Brian, for that. And you're right, establishing a clear, communicated policy is foundational for the responsible AI integration. And at the end of it, what we understand from it is that it's really about that governance and the empowering employees with the right knowledge kind of a piece, kind of a piece. But finally, we'd love to kind of look forward at the long term strategic benefits of a well governed AI workspace. CDW, it helps clients maximize their technology investment, and AI is arguably the most significant investment today, Brian. Please tell us, beyond immediate productivity gains, what are the long term strategic benefits for Canadian organizations that successfully build both the trust and capability in their modern AI enabled workplaces?
Absolutely. Great question. So there's a lot to unpack with this one. And it ties into somewhat the leveling up of our use cases, right? How are we going to maximize maximize the value that we extract from AI tools. And I'll give you three. First and foremost, talent retention, coworker engagement, I think is a big area. And I'll dig into that in a second. The second one would be around innovation, right? Like big I innovation and little I innovation, but innovation at scale, automation at scale, transforming the way that we do business, leveraging generative AI to enhance our digital transformation strategy. So innovation, innovation, innovation. I've not met a single, IT decision maker or an IT executive that is not focused on innovation. And then the third one is around leveling up use cases. So kind of walking through each one of these and unpacking it a little bit. Coworkers that are comfortable leveraging this technology, that are able to deliver the workload they have every day in a more efficient way. Coworkers that are able to maybe offload some of the administrative tasks that I don't know a lot of people that love administrative tasks. Some do, and that's great. And we need those people. But for me and for lots of people, offloading administrative tasks that I'm not really don't energize me, that don't help me achieve my daily goals. So as we think about that, if we can create a more productive organization, and if that productivity is leading to coworker engagement, talent retention is incredibly costly every time there's turnover to hire somebody and retrain somebody. So I think that's a big opportunity, is really about, how do we help support the users, and how do we help support them and get the job done? Because we got big challenges ahead of us. So moving on, secondly, innovation, right? It's so important. Things are moving so quickly. Organizations that are able to innovate faster, that are able to extract more value. This is generally where we go from some of the Gen AI tools into a lot of the agents, because as we think about the ability to build an agent within, my team or your team, we can give it a job description and we can leverage it to do things to help support us move faster and innovate faster. So, innovation is the name of the game for most businesses that we speak to. And, these tools really represent a big opportunity for them. Lastly, use cases. So we talked about some of those maybe introductory use cases, or some of the places where people start. And when we think about leveling up use cases, an agent that we have available is around research agent. So if I'm doing a business case, or if I'm creating a proposal, right, I can leverage an agent that's going to help, have access to every piece of information that I have access to at CDW. It's going to have access to, different sources. I can plug in different knowledge bases, and I can absolutely, create a draft that is, very thoughtful, that is cited with references, and that's going to help me get to my finished proposal a lot faster. Other use cases that are really exciting, and a lot of it is just kind of show and tell. There's things that I've talked to coworkers about or clients about, and then they come back and talk to us about things that they're doing. But it's really just, how do we go from offloading administrative tasks, maybe at level one, to introducing, agents, automation, and redefining all these processes that we leverage every single day.
It's an inspiring vision, Brian, and it shows how strategic AI adoption it can lead to competitive advantage and a high performance culture. But this has been an overall great conversation with you. We really appreciate your time, Brian. Your insights clearly highlight that building trust and capability in AI is a strategic mandate for Canadian businesses to really thrive in this digital landscape. As we wrap up, if there's one core key takeaway that you want Canadian SME listeners to remember about embracing AI responsibly in their workspace, what would it be?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. This has been a great conversation. I love having, discussions with thoughtful people like yourself. So to wrap up, key message, we are in an incredible moment in time, and we have incredible challenges ahead of us. If I zoom out and look at Canada, I'm a proud Canadian citizen, and I want to inspire Canadians across the coast to leverage and extract value from Gen AI tools. And, whether it's me or any trusted advisor, I think it's really important for organizations to really treat this moment with a sense of urgency, to really think about that checklist of steps to take to really implement effective AI use cases within their workplace. Again, technical readiness, training, AI policy, like go through the motion, treat this with urgency, and really focus on doing the work. This is a moment in time where we can't be passive, sit back and wait for the transformation to happen. We need to step forward, be on our toes, and be in the driver's seat and really help, our country, our organizations, and our individuals accomplish amazing things in the years to come.
That's a powerful and a very actionable message. Thank you so much, Brian, for your time and for sharing such great vision and your expertise with us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
And that was an insightful conversation with Brian Matthews, the head of service strategy and development, Modern Workspace at CDW Canada, discussing the key findings of their 2025 Modern Workspace report on unlocking AI's potential. We covered the rapid adoption of AI, the critical need to close the trust and capability gap, and how investing in smart policies and training is essential for future productivity. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. We appreciate your continued support. Please be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more expert insights and resources that can help your business thrive. You can also visit our website, CanadianSME.ca, for valuable information and tools. Before we leave, a special shout out to our partners, RBC, UPS, Avon Global College, ADP, and Google for their ongoing commitment to empowering small businesses in Canada. Until next time, please keep innovating and striving for success. We'll see you in the next episode.